Thank you for coming on the podcast, Mark. It's the Let's Pivot podcast, the show for founders and coaches who want to take the guesswork out of growth, talk about systems that drive predictable growth. How's your day going?
Going great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Florida. We've got some nice cloud cover and some beautiful cool temperatures. So I love the cold weather, and this is very nice.
Beautiful. What part of Florida?
Ocala, we're about an hour north from Orlando.
Yeah, I went to school in UCF, so I know the area
Oh,
very
wow.
well.
In Gainesville?
It was in Winter Park, but I did
Okay.
date a girl in a Gator. Lived in Gainesville for about a year. It's a nice
Gotcha.
little area.
Yeah, it's beautiful country here for sure. I just moved here in January.
Okay, you liking it so far?
Yeah, I love it. I was living in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's getting way too crowded for me, and I moved over here. And I love it here. Really, really nice.
Nice. So, Mark, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your journey and how you got into the coaching space?
Yeah, so yeah, I think a lot of people who get into coaching had some trials and tribulations in their life. Um, they started looking for ways to heal themselves, and that's kind of my journey. I had some things that happened in childhood, and it was they were I guess they were like always in my thoughts, about I wish life would have been different, and I wish this would have been different, and had those worries. I was producing more of the same because I kept thinking about the the issues, and so I did some therapy. I started studying consciousness about 40 years ago, I guess, and about 15 years ago, or 15 or 16 years ago, I found the bones of the system we're using now, and then I made some pretty significant upgrades to it and launched Encompass Life about 7 years ago. And over the last 7 years, I've been building infrastructure. I now have a university where I train people in in the modality we're doing here. We call it the quantum leap technique, but it's very different than traditional coaching or therapy or any of that. It's way faster. We just got 2 papers written up in the European Scientific Journal on what we're doing and the effects of it. And we have neurologists studying what we're doing as well. We're just getting test data back from how it's affecting all areas of the brain at the same time, which is really unusual. I'm very fortunate to have found all this.
Yeah, I saw on your website that 100% success rate.
As long as people do the system, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as people follow the system, it works every time.
Okay.
It's just if somebody, we've had people who it hasn't worked for them, but then they haven't done the work, so
Like,
they refuse to do it, or but as long as somebody follows the system, it works every time. If we even had with me, I had a lot of health issues when I got involved with the system. It even cleared up my health issues. I had taken allergy medicine for 30 something years. My allergies healed the first day I did a class with my mentor. I wore glasses for 37 years. My vision healed in a week. I had all kind of things. Skin conditions the doctors couldn't heal, those all healed. I could tell you all kind of stuff, but you probably wouldn't believe it, but all kind of things shift with this.
wow.
Money goes up, relationships, all that.
And how has that transferred over to your professional career I mean, coaching is one thing, right? Being an entrepreneur, creating a business, building a brand, managing, clients and employees and the whole gambit of everything. What's
Well, I've
that
had
like?
other companies as well. I had a construction company. I had probably 85 employees and maybe another 40 or 50 people on contract. I had that for a number of years. I had a raw food company, did real estate investing also. So I've been an entrepreneur probably since I was 28, somewhere around in there. And
Just in the DNA.
no, I was stubborn, and I was taking personal growth work classes because to benefit me as a leader, and really I didn't like what I was doing in my day job, but I love the personal growth work stuff. I just didn't believe I could make a living in it. but that was my passion. I mean, sometimes I was working so I could take off 3 months to go take classes in Europe or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was something I was always interested in, even since I was a kid. I just didn't know what it was called, but I was interested in it, and so I was taking classes. And when I started this company, I said, man, there's got to be a way to convey all the years of me taking personal growth classes with and without somebody having to spend, months at a time being sequestered. And so we came up with a system we launched a company where we're doing 2 2-hour calls a week, and people are really getting it, man. So it's the way we're delivering it. I mean, it's a lifetime worth of studies, and people are getting it. And our full program lasts about a year and a half.
Okay.
But there's modules you can take and as you go. But people are really making huge differences in their lives very, very quickly,
That's got to feel
and
good.
a lot from the comfort of their own home. We do have some in-person classes as well. A lot from the comfort of their own home, and our classes are always with a live teacher. And it's a big difference. A lot of personal accountability in what we're doing here.
Let me ask you a little bit about that. Is it marketed, advertised? Where do you find your
Word of
clients?
mouth. Right now, we've grown into well, I mean, into the 7 figures just by word of mouth. I didn't even have a website, and I had clients all over the world with no website. I had other businesses going, and I was coaching on the side because I loved it. And I traveled to Netherlands, UK. People would invite me there to go lead classes. No website, no nothing. Somebody had heard about me, and next thing I know, I'm going over there doing classes. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And so
Okay.
finally said, you know what? I was making really good money in the real estate game, but it wasn't, you know, it was just money, and it wasn't feeding me. And I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And my clients were asking me, where do we learn to do what you're doing? I said, well, there's no one out there doing it as far as I can tell. So I started at the university.
Okay. And
And
do you
now
do advertising and marketing now, or you're still all word of
we're
mouth?
just starting to.
Okay.
We're just starting to. But I get on podcasts like what you're doing. Um, you know, and I have my own podcast show. I just started doing that. I think I got maybe like 100 episodes done on that. And so, getting our name out a little bit here and there. But majority, once somebody does our classes, the people around them notice the big change in them. They go, what are you doing? Because you're really different. And they'll refer people to us. So, I mean, that's the best way is, proof's in the pudding, right?
Right. And so what kind of changes have you seen over the last 5 to 10 years in the coaching space?
There's a whole bunch of people who are getting into the coaching business where um, I've seen schools open up, $300, come to a weekend class and you're a coach. Well, good luck with that. And there's so many schools out there. So many people are really trying to get into this business. And there's not a lot of support in most of the schools I've seen. Like once you graduate or go through the certification process, cool, now go to do your gig, right? So um, what we're doing here is also helping them put together their business model, making sure they're successful. And our focus is on what I'm focusing on is making sure our clients are successful. And once and with our focus on that, then our success keeps going up. But we're really focused on our client success. So that's the big difference what we're doing compared to other modalities. One of the big differences. Yeah, when people take our classes, they have like basically unlimited private calls associated with it. I mean, that's a
That's a
big deal.
that's a lot.
That's a big deal, right? I mean, we
How do
charge
you
what we
manage all
charge.
that?
I have coaches.
You have coaches. Is it a pretty big team?
It's big and it's growing. But yeah, we have half a dozen, 8 coaches, I guess now, somewhere around in there,
Okay.
and it's continuously growing.
Okay. And I'm guessing there's an onboarding process for new clients.
New coaches, new clients.
What does that look like, your onboarding process?
We have an interview with them. We're making sure, people are going to come in with us. We're going to make sure that we're fit. One of our coaches, one of our class, our class leaders, they have a conversation. Usually they have conversations with 2 or 3 of us So when we make sure, like, it's more of a selection process, and what we do, it's not for everyone.
Right.
And so let's make sure that you're committed, that you have the resources to do this, that you have the time to do it. If somebody's going to be a great coach, they got to be coachable. If you're not, I've worked with some coaches too that weren't coachable, and their businesses failed. I've seen people who were a pretty decent coach, but they weren't coachable in business, and then their business would fail. So, man, if you're really gonna be successful, you gotta be coachable. You gotta face what you don't want to face about your own limiting belief systems. And my team has carte blanche to call me on my stuff.
Is that a
So,
leadership philosophy for you? What is
yes,
one of
sir.
the things that make you
Yes, sir.
obviously the leader of your business, right? Is that the core
Yeah.
of it?
You lead by example. That's what my team says. He goes, man, you're doing this company, but you're living what you're speaking. And so that's why we have the credibility we have. And since we're bringing this up, I saw a video, and I thought, love is a very, very powerful feeling, right? And they had a video, and they were talking about that they're putting people in basically a Faraday room, and they were measuring different emotions were coming off of them. And they measured love, and like love really spikes the equipment. And then they had something that spiked the equipment that was 40 times greater than the feeling of love. And you know what that was? Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity. And so what is authenticity, right? So what I did, the way I used to operate was, I believed I was a leader, and I couldn't show if I had something that was bugging me. Like for me, I wasn't going to show that
Right.
because that's not what a leader should do.
Right. Always strong, always
I
rigid.
was strong, always this, and so I would have a projected presentation
Mhm.
persona, and then here's where really was on the inside, right? And that distance kept growing, especially when I had my other businesses. Like it kept growing, and the more it kept growing, the more self doubt I had, the more self loathing, and all those things would build up until I'm snapping at my people, blaming things on them. And so now, if I got something going on, if I'm leading a class, if it's with my partner, or if it's with, I just get it out, telling myself. And it's so refreshing to do that and to have that bandwidth freed up.
Right. Right. And I guess that goes back to a communication principle, right? Like being able to communicate effectively so that, other people actually know where you are and they can,
Yeah.
kind of support you when you need it or
Yeah, or having intuition or wisdom. But I know whenever if I'm chewing on a bunch of stuff, like my intuition and wisdom gets shut off, and I get wrapped up in how am I going to do it, what am I going to do, and all that crap. But when I free my bandwidth, it's like I take the perfect action, I take effective action at the perfect time.
okay.
And
Well,
that's one of the things we work on here is how you can how I say, but what's it like to be able to take the perfect action at the perfect time?
be like Michael Jordan in the playoffs or something.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. Hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am from Texas, but yeah.
What are the goals for you in 2026?
Um,
Where are you going?
yeah, I have 3 books coming out in 2026. Thanks. We got one that's in final revisions now, and then two other ones following it. One of the things we do here too is when our coaches get to a certain level with us, we help them get their book published. So we're gonna have probably I got 3 coming out next year, and we'll probably have 2 coming out from some of our 2 or 3 coming out from our coaches next year as well.
Okay.
So we'll be launching that. We're launching our classes in Spanish next year as well. What else? I'm looking to do more public speaking also because we're just getting some of those opportunities are starting to show up. And just really building on our team of coaches. To me, what we're doing here requires to have, where we have, instead of just me, here's 10, 12, 13, 14, 20, 30 people who are playing in the same realm as what I'm doing here.
Right.
So we're
Right.
really building out. We're really building out a well-rounded team. And we're
And
launching. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, with all that growth, that expansion, do you have those processes already automated?
Yes, sir.
They're all already automated for you?
Yep. We're ready to launch. When I started building the Compass Life, I built a foundation to be able to multiple coaches doing what we're doing. So, yeah,
Okay.
that was my goal from when we first started. Like I said, the system is really different, Chuck, and so I desired to make sure I could get it out. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's so different than you got to think positive and don't think negative. You know,
Hmm.
most every other modality I've ever worked with was that way. It's so different than that. It's people were telling me you can't do it the way you're doing it. So what we're doing here is most people work to change thought, to change feeling.
Right.
What we're doing is we're changing feeling to change thought.
So you're doing it the opposite, because when I was looking at you, it made me automatically think of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah,
But
it
then when I
depends.
looked at it, it looked like it's not the same thing at all. And talking to you now, it seems like you go about it from the opposite end.
Yep. You know, so if I gave you a shot of tequila right now, your thoughts would change real quick. Yeah.
You sure
So
would.
it would take a lot of tequila to change your thoughts. You know,
Yeah.
it's a small chemical change in the body, and all of a sudden your thoughts change, right? So most people they get stuck in this habitual pattern of feeling, or in other words, they get accustomed. I mean, even the way talk a lot of coaches talk, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Where most people are freaking miserable,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so they're not comfortable in that. They're familiar with being miserable, but they're not comfortable in misery.
Right.
Even see how the people are framing language. And so on some level, the person's emotional body goes, if this is what this guy is calling comfortable, and I got to get out of this to go to what? You know, what am I getting into? So I go, you're not getting out of your comfort zone. You're getting out of your familiar zone, and you're familiar with being miserable, folks. They go, oh, you know what? You're right. Just those little changes will have somebody go, oh, well, this makes sense. And so as soon as they can, you ever heard the truth will set you free?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing. Everything we're doing here is scriptures based. It's also quantum physics,
Okay.
and
I was wondering if there was a religious aspect to kind of what you're doing or your framework.
not necessarily religious. A lot of religious. There's a lot of religions with a lot of dogma, but
Right.
there's a lot of principles that are in a lot of that are the same in all religions, in most other religions. And those principles to me is what's true, and then they put dogma around it to separate it to create separation from other people and fighting over people to join a religion or something. But this are certain spiritual truths or spiritual laws. Even like some people call it the law of attraction, right? I'm sure you've heard of that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So what we do here, instead of calling it the law of attraction, we call it the gift of co-creation.
Okay.
If you say the law, say the law, and say the law.
Uh,
It's
co-creation,
just say the law.
the law,
Now say the gift.
the gift,
Which one feels better?
the gift.
Yeah. So every word in Scripture says life and death exists in the power of the tongue. So every word will either do this or this. And so when people are doing this is death, and when people are doing this is enlightenment. So every word we're working is having people come to a new level of understanding, a new level of enlightenment, a new level of awareness, and ideally enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm for life.
Life, yeah. And
Okay.
the word enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, meaning with God.
I hadn't heard that before.
Awesome. So it's really different.
Right. It sounds quite different. I'm gonna have to look into that. I feel like I could probably benefit from one of these types of coaching sessions.
Yeah, yeah, we have all kind of ways of coming. Where do you live?
I'm in California. I'm
Okay.
in
I think we're
San
going to be out there this year too. I think we're going to be in LA, also
in
leading
LA
class.
for a
Uh-huh.
conference
No, leading classes.
classes. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. I'll have to come down and see you in person.
Yep. We'll be in Austin, February, Boise, March, South Dakota, April. I think we'll be in LA, Minnesota, New York. So yeah, we're all word of mouth.
You got a busy year, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Mark. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, being one of my first guests.
Cool. How about I'll return the favor and have you come on mine?
Yes, sir. That sounds great.
Awesome.
Anytime.
That'd be great, sir.